starting now. Good afternoon, good morning to everyone. Welcome to this edition of Corkeen Talks. My name is Fabiana Paes. I'm from Portugal and I'm the marketing manager of Corkeen, a company owned by Amorim Group, the world's biggest cork processing group. In the next 90 minutes, we will talk about green cities and climate change and how can we design sustainable playgrounds for future weather conditions. This session is recorded, so in the next few days you will receive by email a link with the recording. So please put your micros in mute mode and let's start. For who didn't heard about Corkeen until now, here is our mission: to create safe and sustainable playgrounds and leisure spaces for everyone. With our mission in mind, we created this year our Corkeen Talks, online free trainings to share knowledge and good practices, inviting specialists in several areas. This session was prepared with Retromax, our exclusive distributors for the Southeast Asia. Nancy, thank you once again for challenging us on this topic. Here is our agenda for today: a quick presentation of Retromax. After that, Eduardo Soares, our main speaker, brings us this so actual topic about green cities and climate change and how to design sustainable playgrounds for future weather conditions. After that, we will have 15 minutes more or less for Q&A. So please use the chat in the application during the presentation to expose your questions and doubts. So Retromax has been supplying and installing playground safety surfacing since 1998. Currently, they have offices in Vietnam and Philippines and a working partner in Thailand. In the course of the last 20 years in this industry, they have witnessed with the evolution of playground safety surfacing from sun-based to EPDM floor tiles to casting C to EPDM flooring and synthetic turf too. Now they are Corkeen's exclusive distributors in this region. At Retromax, people always believe in safe and sustainable play, from playground equipment to safety surfacing. They believe that all kids should have access to safe and sustainable playgrounds that offer durability and foster environmental responsibility. They will attend at BEX Asia trade show in September. So if you have some curiosity to see their products and the Corkeen system, of course, you can visit their booth. Introducing now our main speaker, Eduardo Soares, Innovation and Product Management Director at Amorim Cork Composites. Eduardo is engineer and PhD in Material Science and Engineering from Oporto University and MBA from Porto Business School in Portugal too. His professional background is linked to various areas of materials engineering and more recently to innovation and product management. He has been linked to the sectors of surface coating, ceramics, castings, heat treatment, and polymeric materials, focusing in particular on the themes of circularity, life cycle, and carbon footprint of materials production process. Since 1995, he has an active role in the development of European playground standards. So, Eduardo, it's up on you.
Hello, everyone. Once again, reinforcing what Fabiana said, thank you very much for your presence here. Let me request control for the presentation. It's truly an honor to be explaining to you a little bit our vision, how we address these topics of sustainable and smart cities, climate change, and also how we link with the development of this system, Corkeen, that we embraced a few years ago, and now we are turning really into a worldwide success. That's our expectations. So about my presentation, the main objectives is precisely this. So making your, showing you our vision, how we link sustainable and smart cities with Corkeen. But I will also talk a little bit more about this system. I will present to you cork as a material, where does it come from, a little bit also about our company, our mother company, in this case, Amorim Cork Composites, and some of the areas and activities that we do, and then also to conclude with some case studies that we have already on the market, so that you can see how we are installing and how we are developing this system and this business model. So once again, thank you for being here, and let's start. Let's see if this works. Okay, seems that it's working. Okay, so starting with sustainable and smart cities. In fact, cities represent only 3% of the total land in this planet. However, they represent 68% of the population are projected to live there by 2050. So this huge gap that we see here presents a lot of challenges for the future. The challenge here are, of course, the rapid and unplanned urbanization with a lot of impact that we have on the environment. They represent a lot of energy consumption, and one of the big numbers that we have on the table, of course, is that cities are today represent more than 75% of the global waste and carbon emissions, which is truly a tremendous number. And then cities are also much vulnerable to climatic and environmental changes that we foresee within the coming years, or that we are already seeing today. So things like urban planning, investing in renewable energy and carbon negative materials, and projecting cities that are comfortable and joyful to live is truly fundamental. So we all know this. What is also important to understand is that smart cities today also entail a lot of opportunities with all of this. So this is a generic scheme with some of the pillars that usually determine or rule what is considered a smart city today. And this changes a lot from mobility, from societal changes, from new materials, from energy, from innovation, also in economics and entrepreneurship. So the smart cities entail so many opportunities and innovation that today is clearly a starting point for innovation, for resource management, and a lot of development is foreseen in this area. In our case, Amorim Core Composites, we look at this precisely this way, turning this decisive moment in history into opportunities for our company and how we can address them. One of them, for sure, is composting and recycling and reusability of materials. This is clearly a topic that we have been preparing ourselves. I will show you a little bit in front how we are doing that. Another one really important, and a big part of us comes from the nature, is how to include nature in the cities. How can we bring more trees? How can we bring more natural materials into construction and so on? And this is really important, and we have truly a word to say in this area. Also really important is that a lot of smart cities and sustainable development also comes from a societal point of view. So creating nice places to live, creating joyful places to be in society is also truly important. And finally, also truly important is that from the global carbon emissions, we know that 11% is part of construction. So how can we, with a material like cork, also work and address this topic? So starting from here, and if we look into materials, which is a big portion of our work, we are looking at this from different ways. First of all, and when we talk about circular economy, there is a lot of work that we have been doing in recycling and combining cork with other materials, generically materials that will be used for landfilling or with any kind of use, and transforming into new materials. Also really important is the smart materials way. So combining materials which are lighter, which are stronger, which are more performative, it's also a big topic for us. The use of natural materials in construction is fundamental, either into big structures or combining with other materials. In this case, you have a picture here of a product that we are working with a partner, combining stone with cork. Truly an amazing material, lightweight material, more performative material. For sure that the future is also bringing us specifically to construction and to cities the technology of 3D printing, that's for sure. And it's also an area where Cork has a fantastic opportunity to work. And it's also something that we are trying to develop in our pipeline of future business areas. So it's also because of this conjunction of factors, materials, having nicer places to live and to play with our relatives, with our friends, that are joyful to stay, that Corkeen was born, this idea of developing this surfacing system, which has been developed and produced by Amorim, the world leader on the cork production, and it's made from cork, made from a 100% organic material, presenting it as an eco-friendly, sustainable solution for the area of playground and leisure surfacing. So let's talk a little bit about cork. What is cork? Cork is the bark of the cork oak tree, specifically the variant of the Quercus suber. It's the bark of the tree. It's a tissue that covers the trunk and the branches. It's a 100% natural material which has unparalleled qualities and performance. So the way that we extract cork from the cork oak trees, it is done in a way that no cork tree is harmed in any way. So the cork is extracted by experienced workers from the tree without making any kind of harm or damage to the wood inside. And it's a very particular tree. It's a tree that lasts more than 200 years, okay? The first harvest is made after 25 years of the plantation of the tree. And then each regeneration of the cork of the bark of the tree takes around about 9 years. So each harvesting, it's made in each 9 years. So during the lifetime of a cork oak tree, we can harvest it around about 16 to 19 times. It also depends. What is cork in reality? Cork is, as I like to say, is a natural foam. It's a closed cell structure, okay, in which around about 40 to 50% of it's air encapsulated in this cellular structure. And then we have the solid part, which is essentially composed by lignin, polysaccharides, steroids, so fatty acids, and also a big part is also composed of suberin. Also, a fun fact is that on a cubic centimeter of cork, we can have something like 40 to 50 million of cells. So it's really a packed and closed cell structure. So its main features, cork is, because of this composition of with a lot of air entrapped on the cells, cork performs pretty well as an acoustic insulator, a thermal insulator, It's impermeable to liquids and gases. It's also resistant to fire and to high temperatures. That's also one of the facts that it stands on the bark of the tree, also to protect it on the natural environment. It has a high coefficient of friction, which turns it good for a lot of applications, for instance, for flooring. It's hypoallergenic, it's light and buoyant, and it's elastic and compressible. So in this case, it's truly a remarkable material, and this is one of the facts. For instance, it is a lot used for stoppers on the wine industry, precisely because of this. It has also a soft touch, and of course, it's 100% natural, it's reusable, and it's recyclable for new products. So where is the most part of the cork oak forest present? So the biggest part of the cork oak forest is present on the West Mediterranean basin. Okay, we are talking about Portugal, we are talking about Spain, some areas of France and Italy, and a part of the north of Africa. By far, as you can see here from these numbers, and I won't detail them too much, but most of it comes from Portugal and from Spain, the biggest producers. And in this case, it's Portugal where this industry has found historically the biggest part of the transformation industry, precisely lives here, being, of course, the leader in this area. So the cork oak forest and the cork oak tree is truly a remarkable tree also for the environment. There are a lot of benefits associated to this. First of all, is in terms of carbon, is a carbon dioxide sink. So it absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for long periods of time. It's a tree that fights the climate change, also because it helps regulating the water cycle on the land. So it helps, or it avoids also the depletion of water from the soil, and its roots help also to maintain the water on the soil, which helps a lot of other species, the natural habitat that lives around the tree is also supported by this. So that's why it also prevents the soil degradation, and it's a natural habitat. Somebody has already did some calculation, and it is expected that around a cork oak tree, we can have something like more than 100 species, different species living around this tree. Also, curiosity is that the cork oak tree and the leaves, it's a densely packed tree. So for windy areas, for instance, it helps a lot regulating the wind and the effects of wind on the soil. So it also prevents erosion, and it gives a natural support area for the living of different types of animals. So it's quite frequent that in Portugal, in these areas, you don't see only the cork oak forest, you see a natural habitat that is exploited in these areas with animals, with different species, with pine trees, with cork oak trees, and also with the presence of the cork oak trees. So it's truly a remarkable habitat. So a huge part of this is that in a 1 ton of cork that is produced, we can have up to 73 tons of CO2 that is sequestered by the cork oak forest, which clearly indicates that we are in presence of the truly carbon negative material, and truly we are developing a positive impact into nature. If we transform this on the footprint per tree, we can have one tree produces round about of 40 to 60 kilograms of cork by each harvest, and this represents something like 3,000 to 4,000 kilos of CO2 retained per tree, which is truly a remarkable number. A little bit more detailed, if we can look into a cork stopper, we have this fantastic number that a cork stopper can reach a carbon balance of up to 562 grams of CO2 retained. And these are numbers that are obtained from external entities and certified by authorities. So starting now with a talk about our company. So Corkeen is produced by Amorim, the cork industry leader, which has more than celebrated last year 150 years of history. So it's truly an historic company in Portugal with all of its history developed around cork. We have, these are the 5 main business units that we have, starting with the one closer to the forest, which is the company Amorim Forestry that manages all the raw materials for the group. Then we have the biggest company in the group, which is also the biggest application for cork, which is Amorim Cork producing cork stoppers. There is another business unit, Amorim Flooring, that produces panel floors and wall coverings. Then there is Amorim Cork Composites, so the company that I represent, developing many applications where cork is not so recognized. And then there is also Amorim Insulation, which produces expanded cork mainly for construction purposes and insulation of houses and buildings. We have a worldwide presence, okay? In our case, Amorim Cork Composites, we have 2 production units, one localized here in Moselos, on the, let's say, outskirts of Porto, in Portugal, and we have a second production unit located on the state of Wisconsin in the USA. We have many joint ventures. One of them is precisely Corkeen, and we have also then a commercial presence a little bit scattered around the globe. From Australia to Canada, we ship cork and we ship cork composites a little bit everywhere. So our industrial activity, this is also a fun fact. We are also negative in our footprint here, but where we have the emissions, also for curiosity, on our activity that represents only 20% of our emissions, being the value chain, meaning shipping and supply of goods and so on. That's the biggest part that represents 80% of emissions generated by our activity. And talking to you a little bit about where we are present, our activity is very broad. Amorim Cork Composites is dedicated to around about 25 different business segments. Truly, our mission is to add value to cork by continuously working on new applications. And today we are present in areas so different as aerospace, truly an area where performance of cork is appreciated, to other areas that are completely different, like retail and decoration goods, where the performance is not so relevant. What is relevant is the sensorial, the sustainable, and the haptics, for instance, of cork. So between these, I would say, 2 extremes, a multitude of applications exist, combining these 3, I would say, main pillars of our value proposition: performance of cork, the sustainability of cork, and also the sensorial attributes. For sure, one of them is also Corkeen, that we are going to talk a little bit more in detail. But coming again into a part of the sustainable and smart cities, It is also important and interesting to identify that we are already present a lot in construction, okay? And in construction, working on this philosophy of the pillars for the smart and sustainable cities. One of the applications that we are is on cork thermal insulation of houses in, I would say, exposed areas, but also on the interior walls isolation. In this case, it's let's say private or particular houses, okay? We are also present in hotels such as this, so main big buildings for these kind of applications. Then also on, let's say, more social areas where cork also performs pretty well in terms of sensorial material, like this in the Serpentine Gallery in London, but also other areas like flooring and wall decorations. And also on more technical applications such as this, where we installed acoustic mats on big buildings. In this case, it's the Four Seasons Hotel in Bangkok, but there are other examples. Or also another curiosity as anti-vibratic and dampening materials, in this case, applied on the foundations of residential buildings. In this case, it's in Czech Republic, but we have different cases around the world. So just to let you know, our footprint, I would say our application range in terms of construction is very big, and we are looking seriously into this kind of area where cork really has a word to say, given its natural properties. So Corkeen is produced following the principles of circular economy. It's important to let you know that most of the cork that comes to our production in Emerim Cork Composites, it's cork that has very little interest, I would say, for the application of cork stoppers. So we're not really talking about byproducts, but we are talking about cork which has no application for this area. So instead of burning or instead of using this material for biomass, we are recycling and we are giving it a second life for this material. So this is how we produce Corkeen granules, and we turn them into added value material at the end of the chain. In Emerim Cork Composites, we use nowadays around about 99% of all the cork that enters into our facilities. Why? Because we have been developing this wide range of applications, as you can see on this presentation. And then the final part, the final materials which have very little interest or very little potential to be applied on any of the applications that I've talked to you, then they are used as biomass in our internal energy production boilers, and then they are used to support the factory on the production of energy. So coming now into Corkeen, this is our mission, creating safe and sustainable spaces for play, recreation for everyone. In commercial and public spaces, schools and parks, we truly believe that Corkeen is a playground with a purpose, and it's the right kind of material, of system to be applied on this application. One of the key elements of Corkeen is truly its environmental footprint, its sustainability, But also it's really important that instead of being difficult to use like other natural playground or surfacing systems that exist on the market, we offer a system that is environmentally conscious, but also easy accessible. And this is truly something special that Corkeen has. So an innovative solution that combines safety. We have been working for a couple of years on engineering a system that offers all the demanding requirements for a playground, such as other competitive materials that don't come from an environmental source. And then we are working to install it with certified companies, with all of our installer and partners, to offer it as a premium system complying stringent safety standards. So the three main words and most important words here are safety, stability, long lasting, and the fact that it's sustainable and made from 100% recyclable and renewable material. So I've talked many of them already, but which are, again, the main properties, the main technical properties of Corkeen, and why do they happen? First of all is the lower surface temperatures. Then we have the high impact absorption capacity of Corkeen. Comes also from its high elasticity. It's a material, it's a system that it's odorless, of course, sustainable and eco-friendly. It has an excellent drainage capacity, which is also something really important and interesting regarding the climate change that we are experiencing. It's decay resistant, although being natural. It's lightweight, which also interferes a lot with the easiness of install and transport. It's free of chemical contamination. It's easily maintained. Given the natural properties of cork, it is fire retardant, weatherproof, hypoallergenic, and it resists inundations. So with Corkeen, you can experience a retained fall protection. So the fall protection is permanent, does not move, the material does not blown away, it remains in place, it is made this way, and it protects for a long-lasting time. Corkeen is a two-layer system. There is a flexible base layer that offers more elasticity, and there is a firm top layer which offers more wear resistant, protects then against any kind of mechanical, I would say, aggression into the surface. So the system has been developed considering different types of thicknesses, total thicknesses of the system against different critical fall heights, okay? And we have these tests validated and certified by external entities, in this case against the ISO standard 1177. As I said and reinforced, this is truly interesting for a natural system that is fully accessible for everyone, including children or people with reduced accessibilities like wheelchair. Something truly interesting also is the temperature variation associated with Corkeen. This means that on a Corkeen playground, you can stay even on a very warm day with your bare foot without getting burned. Why does this happen? This happens because you can experience with cork something that is called thermal inertia. So there is a huge lag of temperature variation with cork that you don't experience with other materials like synthetic rubbers, where the variation of temperature is immediate. In cork, either if it is on very hot climates, or on the opposite, on very cold climates, you will experience for much more time stable and homogeneous temperature. On warm climates, that means that the Corkeen surface is much colder, offering more comfort. And on extremely cold environments, you can also experience, for instance, in snow places, it's very frequent that you don't see snow accumulating on Corkeen surfaces because it maintains the temperature for much longer time. Corkeen has been engineered, of course, free from harmful substances. So you won't have any kind of problems regarding toxins, regarding chemicals, heavy metals, VOCs, formaldehydes, PHAs. All of these kind of substances are free from our system, and the system has been proven and validated according to all these tests. So also particularly interesting is the water permeability ratio of Corkeen. So it allows the rapid escape of any water that is accumulated on the surface. So you can see this much better also in our website. But the water permeability of Corkeen is truly remarkable. So as I said before, Corkeen Play is a two-layer system, a base layer installed for flexibility and the top layer installed for wear behavior and for added mechanical resistance to the floor. Corkeen also preserves our ecosystems. You don't have any kind of problems here regarding polymer and microplastics going into water or going into water channels. So it reduces the spread of microplastics on the environment. So we have been also doing over the last, I would say, 12 months, a deep work around the life cycle analysis of Corkeen. And we have done with an external entity a life cycle analysis using a cradle to gate approach. Okay, so it means, what this means is that this study considers all the activities from the extraction of the raw material to the final finished product at the factory gate. And we also included the distribution and the installation stages, since Corkeen is an in-situ system. The result that we have obtained is that Corkeen is truly a negative carbon balance material. So this means that we have obtained a minus 102 kilograms of CO2 equivalent per square. And this makes Corkeen the first playground surfacing with a negative impact on the market today. I would finalize now with some of the examples that we have for projects with Corkeen. In this case, with our brand master, Nordic Surface, one of the first brand masters that we have partnered with. We have many different projects already installed in Scandinavia, particularly in Sweden. This is the project Marbach. Another example, also in Scandinavia, but this time in Norway with our partner Sandvik Play, in this case installed on the city of Bergen. In this case, in Portugal, okay, installed in the city of Lisbon, an area, green area called Monsanto, in this case with our partner Fial Gaspar. We are also expanding Corkeen in the US, in North America, and you can see here our first project that has been installed in California, near Sacramento, with our partner there, Studio Ludo. And of course, with our partner in Singapore, Retromax, here the project Ogang that has been installed there. As you can see from the previous project, it's truly fundamental for us to have this network of grandmasters, or our partners on development of Corkeen on the different regions. And our ambition is, of course, to grow worldwide and to turn this into the most recognized natural surface for playgrounds in the world. And it's truly fundamental to count on the experience of these grandmasters on the market, with also the technical support and the ability to develop the product even more from Amorim Cork Composites. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your time. And now I'm open for your questions.
Thank you so much, Eduardo, for this amazing presentation. So we will open right now our Q&A with the first doubt from Elena. So the tropical climate is generally very humid and does not augur well for durability of cork against algae and environmental stains. Eduardo, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, we have been working on the question of the durability of cork in different types of climates. What we can say here is that in regards or comparing to synthetic systems, we have found that cork, for instance, has let's say a behavior that even avoids the formation and the evolution of mold and all this type of bacteria. So cork, I would say, has all the conditions to behave very well in this kind of environments.
Okay, thank you. We have here another one from Angelina asking, do you have sample projects at the Philippines? I don't know.
No, unfortunately, in the Philippines, we still don't have that I'm aware of, but I'm pretty sure that we still don't have any kind of projects. I hope that we can have very soon.
Okay, thank you. And another one from Francesco. What is the life expectancy compared to EPDM?
Well, we have projects now installed for, I would say, 6, 7 years without any kind of problems, with regular maintenance. So this is the historic that we already have. So I would say that it will perform or behave similarly to a PDM. We are working on the, let's say, technical details, comparing one-to-one in terms of wear patterns and wear behavior. There is naturally, let's say, a drawback of working with a natural material is that the wear behavior is a little bit below what we can see with rubbers that are more harsh, much more harder than cork. So in this case, we perform a little bit worse, but still we are complying to the standards in terms of wear performance.
Thank you. And another one. As mentioned of easy maintenance, does this react to cleaning detergents?
Well, cleaning detergents, it of course it will depend on the kind of chemical that we use. But since the cork, the top layer is engineered to have much higher wear performance and behavior. I would say that with regular and non so much aggressive detergents, you should have no problem. It's if we start using strong acids, strong bases, very alkaline materials. In this case, we will see some kind of let's say slow degradation from the system. Yes.
And another one, having colors of the surfacing adds a lot of play value. How would Cork address this limitation of color variance?
Well, we love the natural color of cork. It's on our development pipeline to address this opportunity. I cannot disclose too much information about this for the moment, and to kickstart, I would say this surfacing system. We are putting all our bets on the natural color of cork, which adds we think a premium over other colors that exist on the market, but we are trying to put some color on the cork. I cannot disclose too much about this, but it's in our product development pipeline. For the moment, what we offer to the market is cork in its natural color.
We have here another question from Lena. To say, I have a bag made of cork which requires regular application of a conditioner, so I suspect cork in outdoor floors will very quickly become slippery because of algae growth. Excuse me. The tropical rain and humidity can be a real beast to deal with, unlike the dry weather in the Mediterranean. Have you installed cork in the tropics?
Corkeen in the tropics, yes, we have some installations in the tropics. What I can say about permeability, and perhaps I was not sufficiently clear, the water permeability of Corkeen is truly remarkable. It's, when I say remarkable, we are talking about 5 to 6 times over the one that we see with regular playgrounds. Okay. And this happens because of the nature of the system that we have developed. The permeability of the system is truly remarkable. So I would say that the potential for use in climate areas with a lot of rainfall is unique, is very good. With the question of algae and the bag made of cork, so of course we are talking about different materials. Your bag made of cork most likely doesn't have any kind of surface protection or whatever. In this case, Corkeen is formulated with a top layer system with a coating of the granules that allows for this problem to be minimized in terms of staining and to help the cleaning or the self-cleaning even with the rain of the system.
Thank you. It's interesting because we have here at the chat a kind of opinion battle about the colors. So we have some people who want more color and other ones who are completely okay with this color because of some designs and some universal designs for children with autism, for example. So Lena is asking if you have any project in Singapore, and if so, can Retromax organize a visit? So I will forward this this information to Nancy from Retromax, and in the email that you will receive in the next days with the recording of this webinar, I will put the direct contacts of our exclusive distributor in the Southeast Asia region. More question here from Francesco. What is the warranty of this product?
Yes, in the case of the warranty, we follow the same procedures of the normal playground surfacing. Okay, so we have to discuss that with the brand master that is located in your region, but we can talk if you want after this talk.
Okay. And another one from Clark. Are there any significant factors that need to addressed when Corkeen is installed on slab roof decks versus on grade?
Yes, the roofing, let's say the installation on roofing, actually it's an area where we are studying also. Please bear in mind that Corkeen is a very recent system, so, and quite honestly, the more initiatives we do like this, presentation, discussing and brainstorming possible uses of Corkeen opens more applications that we need to understand. For now, where we have more technical information about installations and about performance and all of this is for playground and surfacing. In this case, yes, we have experience on installing Corkeen over different, let's say, surfaces. The two surfaces that we recommend the most are one, if possible, porous concrete. The other, perhaps a little bit more simple, is gravel, on top of gravel. On top of rigid slab of, or let's say a dense slab of concrete, yes, we have that experience. It performs, of course, although the water permeability gets harmed in this sense. As I said, in terms of roofs, is an area that we are at this moment trying to investigate a little bit better how our system could behave there.
Okay, thank you, Eduardo. Excuse me. I think that's all. And well, I have maybe a question for you, Eduardo. And it's having in mind that not only sustainability is a main pillar of the Amorim Group, but also innovation has a great importance in the company culture. What are the next steps? What are the future projects in this area that, of course, you can share with us?
I would say that, and it's important to present to this audience the business model or the collaborative platform that we are getting together for Corkeen. So we will, as Amorim Cork Composites, being the experts on cork and with a deep understanding of the material, we will continue to work on the technical development, on the technical support of all the installations that we make in terms of understanding the goods and the minus goods that we can have in terms of behavior of the material. So this work, this technical and collaborative work, this network will be on our let's say, mindset for sure, and with it, some evolutions of the system. As I said, priority at this moment is the surfacing for playground. Immediately within the next, I would say the next months, we are working and we will have more installations in areas more regarding to leisure, okay? And after that, there are, again, other applications such as roofing that are being at this moment considered. Then we have the question about the coloring, which, as we understood even here today, it's not clearly homogeneous, but of course we have these questions from the market and we are trying to address them. So I would say, and resuming your question, formats, areas and different areas for application, development of the system in terms of performance, behavior, giving all the answers, technical answers to market, And of course, the question about the colors, I would say that these are the biggest priorities in terms of Corkeen innovation and development.
Thank you, Eduardo. We have time for another question from Francesco. Any preference on the binder to be used, aliphatic or aromatic?
Yes, we provide, Corkeen is provide to the market as a system. So we provide all the necessary elements to the system. So we provide cork as a base layer. We provide the correct resin to be used and the top layer. So, and this is how we supply Corkeen to the market as a system with all the components there.
Thank you. And this time, I think that's all. In the meantime, if you have more questions or doubts, you can address them through the email marketing@corkeen.com, as you can see in your screen. Once again, thank you for your presence. We hope this session exceeded your expectation and was useful in deepening your knowledge on this subject. As mentioned in the beginning, all participants will receive an email with the recording and all contacts you may have for gathering more information about this topic. Thank you so much and see you soon in a future Corkeen Talk.